What's up, farmers? How you guys doing? I hope you all had a fantastic Labor Day weekend and got a lot of stuff done, had some fun, and hopefully the return to the grind isn't so bad. Well, I haven't been around for a bit, but doesn't mean I haven't quit or haven't stopped making progress. And I think today would be a good day to go over that because I've made quite a few things completed, and stick around, I'll show you what's going on. So in that last video I showed you guys how I repaired the rear subframe, got rid of all that rot and garbage. So the next step from there would be the mini tub bars, and I got that accomplished. So as you can see, the mini tub bar is in. It is nice and tight up towards the package tray, and you can also see that I got it painted, but I got it tied into our subframe repair, and it definitely sturdied up the rear subframe. Just those two bars. Now I did make a slight change. I think you can see from this angle here that the bar kind of comes this way. Well, when they're notched, I think it looked like they were supposed to be directly in line, but that changed the width, of course, which means it would be difficult to fit things back there. So I think I offset like 2 inches and really didn't have to do much in the way of notching. They were a little bit long. I had to, on this section here, I had to trim and massage and trim and massage. Basically just had to get them to work to fit nice the way I'd like. You know, fitment isn't something that has to be dead nuts, but it does make welding way easier. You know, you got a bigger gap, you're gonna sit there longer, especially with chromoly, with a gap, you could potentially sit there long enough to make it too hot. So you want to get it as tight as possible without being OCD about it, I guess, but just the ease and the way it welds with a tight fit is so much nicer. So we got that done, got it painted up so that way it's not gonna rust or anything. Along with that, I got the Scout Rods package tray installed. You can see I got some rivets there holding it down, about 6 a piece, each panel. And then I also took and on the high spots where the package tray contacts, or where Scout Rod's package tray contacts the actual package tray, I ran some seam sealer, just so that way if there's any rattling, you know, if there's a spot where it might vibrate or make some noise, the seam sealer will hold it there instead of clattering or whatever you want to call it and making a rattle noise. So really the cage kit is basically done. The only thing left still are the seat back bar, goes from here, and then the D bars that go from here, the main hoop, down to your subframe connector. Like I mentioned in a previous video, I want to get the seat fitted up in there first before I install those, just because I don't want to have any issues with tech, because there are some requirements for the seat back bar and where your shoulders are. So I want to do that, but then from that back stuff there, I went ahead and started reinstalling the floor on the driver's side here, and I never realized how how much more I could hate working with sheet metal. And it's primarily just because it's painted, coated, all that stuff, and it just sucks. So that's why I have one of these hats. If you're gonna do it, definitely get one. It makes your scalp feel much better at the end of the day. And the floors on this side is complete, the driver's side is complete. And yes, the welds in the floor are as ugly as they are on the camera. I tried all kinds of different settings, made sure everything was clean, and I still cannot get it with my MIG welder to weld half decent. So you could get it in some spots, it'd be going nice and good and smooth and looking good, and then all of a sudden just all hell break loose. So because we cut that floorboard out, there is a little bit of a gap, and in some spots where I couldn't get it to start working well, I actually found a trick. I would take a piece of 040 or 16th TIG rod, hold it up there in the crack, and then shoot it, well, pull the trigger of my MIG gun, and that kind of was like almost like you had a spare, another piece of metal there. In some spots it was so big because I didn't do a very good job of cutting stuff out, and I had, I'd cut a part out and then, oh, I gotta cut, a quarter, 3/8 more out. Well, now your little strip, you're not gonna be real good about getting that back there. So I had to make some pieces that went on the inside, then just went on top of the metal and then just welded from underneath. But I guess the only good thing is that a lot of that's gonna be covered up with carpeting, and on the bottom side it's just as nasty. But there, at least I get to be saved by seam sealer, so it won't be so noticeable. Started working on the passenger side and started cleaning stuff up, and I used up 2 wire wheels now, and I don't really feel like going out and getting another one because that would be like a 20 or 30 minute drive. And sorry, I just realized the AC fan was getting noisy. Damn, that's a big ass spider. It's not, there's my finger. Thing's huge. Hopefully it kills some of the crickets in here. So yeah, so I decided to start working on my upper torque box, and let's get down in there. All right, so as you can see, this is the factory upper torque box. I just started the easy spot, which was all the tack weld, or the pinch welds that hold this thing in. And you can see you have some all along this trunk floor where the ribbing is. You get those done. And of course I did through the sheet metal because I don't want to take the time to go through the thicker stuff. But then also on the inside here, you can see all these or the pinch welds that are attached to the torque box. There's about 18 on the inside of the car, and then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's a dozen up here, and then you have a bunch of these brackets here. A lot of them have 3. Can't get it good view, but this connects directly to the subframe. So there's 3 here, 3 here, and you have this piece here. There's like 5 in this. That's on both sides. Oh, there's also one that goes from the bottom side up here, and I had to go up because it's on the tab on the little, I don't know how to explain it, but your subframe comes up and then it has a lip. Well, that's on that lip, so you got to go from the bottom side on that one. And I thought I had this thing, you know, ready to come out, and it still is in there just as good as ever. So looking through this hole here, I could see there was some on the inside. This piece has a tab on the end that's bent up and pinch welded to subframe. So after looking at this for a bit, I figured I could start hacking stuff. Hope the light's not washing me out. Figured I could start hacking stuff up and really doing a bunch of cut work. I try to figure out the quickest and the best way, the least amount of cutting in pieces, and I think I got it figured out. Now, it depends on how much of the floor you want to save, right? So if you were to cut down around here, you could easily get in there with a drill. But I want to keep this flat portion so that I have something for my trunk floor, my new trunk floor, to mount to. And I don't want to deal with any complicated curves and all that crap, having to redo all that stuff. So what I come up with is I'm going to cut this, what do you call it? I don't know. It was kind of bent like this in here, so I cut it. I'm going to take and cut it down this way. Then I cut right here, and I'm going to cut along this other piece of metal. I'm going to cut all the way across. I'm going to cut this out too. Cut all the way across, cut like that down to it again. So this piece will just come out, and I can get my drill in there with my spot cutter bit and pop those out. And then this is in, you know, a minimum amount of pieces. So I'm gonna give that a whirl and see how it comes out. So see you in a bit. All right, so I got one side out. Just want to show you real quick. I ended up having to cut out more pieces than I thought. Let's see. You can see down here, there's the one side. This is that original piece that I said I would cut out. And when I cut that out, I had access. The only problem is, you can see, that's too bright. You can see that, let's get this light in a good position. You can see that there's actually three. I thought there was only two, but there's three. So there's three spot weld or pinch welds that you gotta get out, and you can see maybe in there. You can see the tabs and everything that hold it in. But in order to get the one that's down here, there's just no way to get good lighting in this underneath this car. So this one here is the one that's furthest in, and it's kind of tight. So I had to, as you can see, as you can see, I had to cut the remaining piece that was right here, which is this piece. And then I was able to actually get my drill down in here, and I had to do the two towards the rear first and get those popped loose, and then this whole thing kind of gets a little wiggly, so I was able to kind of bend it downward, and I could get in there for the third. So I'm gonna get back on it and get this thing totally knocked out of here, and then cleaned up, and start looking at how I'm gonna install this Marrowlet Racing upper torque box. All right, I got the factory torque box out and got it just real quick cleanup. Grabbed my Marrowlet Racing upper torque box and got it sitting in position, and you can see the thing is really nice. Basically all I got left to do is do a real good job cleaning everything up. I got all these holes in the floor to plug up, and when I get all that done, then probably get this part of this painted. Just a lot of cleanup. And then paint the spots that I can't get to once this is installed, and then weld it in. And it's pretty easy. Just simple as welding as far as you can reach in there, all the way down along here, all the way back around, and we'll have to get back in here as much as possible, get all this filled in, welded up. And then that'll be installed. So looking forward to that. But for now, I'm gonna leave you guys go, and then tomorrow I'm gonna get some supplies and continue on. So you guys have a good week, and remember, turn that dream into a goal and crush it.